Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Ludi Tonight on SplatoonTourney. We are here again, I believe for the fourth time today, I'm not sure. But listen, it's a special treat because I get to be with DRF, who we got to see earlier on the screen today with winning the Division 3 finals. Congratulations. And we are here with Rose of Battle. Hello, DRF and Rose. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello,
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us, and congrats, DRF.
Oh, that's
Thank
so
you.
exciting.
I appreciate it. I'm so excited. Like it's really been a long season, and to be able to cap it off with a Div 3 championship is, I don't know, it's awesome. Like really special team that I have, and to have 2 division titles under my belt now is really crazy.
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so proud of you. That's such a fun place to still be, like even after. Like, because I know last season you guys had an awesome run too, so then to still be consistent and pulling up and being consistent, like, oh, props off to you.
Thank you. So it's fun, but hey, now that Div 2 and Div 3 are done, I mean, there's a bunch of other divisions that are still trying to figure out who that grand champion is, and we're going to be talking about Div 8A today, I believe, correct?
Yeah, we are with Div 8A with Last Squid Standing and Art Supplies trying to look and secure their spot into the grand finals.
Yeah, so this is the semifinals, and both teams have been looking really good this whole time. I know Art Supplies, they went, I believe, 5-0 in their groups and have just been really bringing it through all of playoffs.
Yeah, like not even just like 5-0. They dropped 2 games in the group stage. Like that is impressive. Like you don't really see a lot of teams have that kind of run. And it's honestly, I don't know. I'm excited to watch them play. I haven't had the chance to do so far. So I really want to see what this team is all about.
I love it. Also, I just really enjoy their logo. And I also wanted to shout out their Sendo team profile. Made me laugh a lot today when I was checking it. Just screw Art Supplies. We use other weapons now. Though I don't know. Maybe we'll see some glue guns because I know Zek still plays glue guns.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, there's a lot of different options there that they will ultimately be able to utilize that kind of stick with their team name there. So it's actually pretty cool that how they've kind of approached this, and the logo and everything on that as well just is super fitting for a team like this. They've got this on lock, like just the branding from start to finish.
It is so good. I love Last Squid Standing's logo. It just is so good. And I'm wondering what we're going to see from both of these teams. So I know Last Squid Standing, they do definitely have a backline player. And they also, of course, have some more shooters. I don't know if we're going to see a roller or maybe some bucket action from Yellow. Perhaps some wiper stuff. I don't know. We'll have to see. What are you thinking?
Yeah, honestly, it could go a number of different ways. So it's for me, it's kind of hard to say right now. But I think we'll kind of learn more as we get into these first couple games to see what these teams are going to just bring out initially. And then from there, it's a long set. It could be up to 9 games. It's really a game of adjustments is what this is going to come down to. Have these teams done their homework? Have they been prepping to whatever the other team could possibly bring out, and what adjustments are you going to make along the way to best counter whatever plays come out, whatever who's going to start popping off, and how do you deal with them?
Yeah, and both these teams have been really doing a great job in Division 8. We got to see some really awesome higher div stuff, but also Division 8 is a blast to watch. I think both these teams are pretty evenly matched. So I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot of back and forths. I don't know. We've had a lot of 9-game sets on Ludi tonight. I always hope that we're going to get another 9 games in an entire set. So that's what I'm personally hoping for.
Oh, who doesn't love a 9-game set? That's just always so much fun, and the hype just builds up. So I am definitely looking forward to that being a possibility as well. But both of these teams, they want this to be over as quickly as possible in their favor. The longer this set goes, the more of that anxiety just starts to build up. And it's fun for us, but it is very nerve-wracking for the teams.
It is like their pain is my pleasure. So I will enjoy watching this go back and forth if it ends up happening that way. But first, we're going to be starting off on Undertow Rainmaker, which we've seen many times in Ludi sets before. What are you thinking that perhaps either team is going to run here? Do you think there's going to be a winning strategy that works for one of them?
Yeah, I think when it comes to this map mode in particular, it's going to kind of be determined by who gets off to a bit of a greater start. At least that's what I'm anticipating from, a couple of Div 8 teams. Those starts are really, really crucial to be able to set the tone early. And if you can get, a quick pop and a couple of picks, then that's just going to open the floodgates in your favor. And you're going to be able to make a big play early on and set the tone. So I think that's what I'm going to be looking out for here in game one, because especially in a 9-game set, you want to be the one that sets the pace. You want to make your voice heard early through, the actions of splatting each other.
Yeah, and here we go in, starting for our very first set in the semifinals for Division 8.
Ooh, let's do this. Taking a look at these compositions here. Already got a couple of fun picks here. My immediate glance goes right towards that Carbon Deco ZNF combo that we are going to be seeing on the side of Last Squid Standing. So that's going to be a really interesting 1-2 punch. You're going to have some solid range there, but also just have to constantly be looking out for that Carbon Deco that's going to be trying to shark and find any open opportunity to slip on through and surprise you with a quick couple of picks to swing it in their favor.
Yeah, and that Wiper does go down. I do also really like the comp on the side of Art Supplies. Happy is playing the Art Supply weapon of the Brush, of course. They have an interesting combo of like two really scrappy quick weapons with that Dapple Dualies and the Brush. But then you also have the Heavy Edit and the Jet Squelcher.
Oh, and I like this move here, but it's going to be the Carbon Deco that's going to clean up those two picks, and that's going to be 3 down on the side of Art Supply. So while they did get that initial pop and a quick movement there, the Carbon Deco just surprising early on here to put full stop to that momentum that Art Supplies was trying to build up. So now with a couple of specials at the ready as well, the Wiper, Carbon Deco both ready to get moving here. It's going to be a nice team effort to pull this up to the first pedestal, and they're going to clear that checkpoint with no problem.
Yeah, they got 2 down on Art Supplies, and this is a scary place to be on the receiving side. That Carbon Deco just coming up and getting that ledge. Che is able to get that cooler out, but this is going to be a tough job to be able to hold back Last Squid Standing, because that was a really good push from them.
Yeah, it certainly was. So they do clear that checkpoint. Not going to get too much after that, it seems. But for now, that's, a completely viable push there. It's not going to be a game-winning push. It's, whoever kind of gets this next push going here will be able to build up a, probably pretty substantial lead. And that's going to be what the mark we're going to look at for the second half, as Art Supplies with 4 specials ready. They launch all of them, and they are trying to find some value, but only get the Carbon going 2 down themselves. Oh, missed opportunity for Art Supplies there as Last Squid Standing answers the call.
Yeah, Last Squid Standing just doing a really good job of being the last one standing. They're able to hold back, of course that is not their game-winning push yet, sitting at 52. But they don't have to push super, super hard just yet. They can play carefully, make sure that they get the picks before they get in. Because if they get a wipe on Art Supplies, already having that first checkpoint down, they can just run it straight through that right.
They certainly could, and with 2 down here, it could be an opportunity now for Art Supplies to make something happen, but the Rainmaker alone on that elbow, the rest of the team finally coming through to provide some support, able to get 1 pick, but it's a trade, 1-for-1. Hammer gonna go right over the head of the Rainmaker, and this Rainmaker trying to make a play happen. Patience is absolute key right now, and they are able to find an opportunity. No!
Oh, but the Carbon!
What a play by Ceiling.
Oh, just biding their time and then coming in with that quick burst and swing combo. That was just really quick, because they don't have a lot of answers to that Carbon. Honestly, playing, Brush and Dapples into a Carbon, if you're not aware of where that Carbon is, it's going to be a really, really rough time in that close range quarters for you. Because Carbon could just take you out really, really quickly, and they don't have a whole lot of options for being able to call out the Carbon with their hits.
No, they don't. And that's going to just, no matter how this goes, that's going to be the adjustment that we need to see out of art supplies, because the Carbon is getting insane value right now. And they will clear this checkpoint. It looks like they are going to get a bit of a sustained push here. I think this should be enough for them to get the lead. So this will be a very telling moment here. Yes, they slipped through. 7-point lead for art supplies. But once again, it's Carbon Wiper that's just continuing to shark around and put a stop to these pushes. So they have the lead for now, but Rose, with 40 seconds to play, they have one more push in them, it seems.
They do, but 2 go down on the side of last squid standing. We have 30 seconds left to go. They need to get the lead here. It's a narrow lead. It is totally possible for them to take it back.
Absolutely. 20 seconds to go. Rainmaker patient once again. Both teams have just done very well on that front so far in this game. It's just not trying to make any sort of rash decisions here, trying to move too quickly. Finally, Rainmaker gonna go ahead and make a move. It's gonna be the Carbon that finds 1, that finds 2, but no, it's going to be the Brush that goes unchecked. And that was actually enough for the lead. Sorry, I just realized that. I was like,
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna be a little bit short there.
They snuck
but
it up
I forget
on there.
yeah, I forget how fast the score goes down on that right-hand side.
Yeah, it's usually not the safest option to go, but you can get points really quickly if you manage it. And just, their tenacity, they just really did not call out the Brush.
Yeah, I mean, the Brush came in clutch because that actually could have been a lot worse. And they probably could have just forced it through into the end of regulation there had the Brush not dropped there and made the play.
Yeah, Riley's going to have a tough time. Teammates do need to go up. Make sure to get picks down. The Wiper's down. We do have strikes out, and overtime is ticking down. They have only so much time.
Yeah, and these strikes are going to force this Rainmaker forward. This should do it. And that will be last squid standing, taking game number 1 after what was a pretty wild back and forth there for a bit.
That was, yeah. We said last squid standing could take it back, and they did.
Absolutely. A great effort there by really both of these teams early on. So I think the vibe that they're, they're starting to check each other here a little bit. And both teams are, I think, quickly realizing, okay, however this goes, we have to earn this every single step of the way, because that game was not easy on either end. So I'm excited to see the adjustments that start to come out here. And Rose, you had brought this up in the middle of that game. The first adjustment that I think we'll probably see here is finding a way to check that Carbon.
Yeah, because playing dualies myself, and I used to play a lot of Dapple dualies, they're really fun against slow weapons, but Carbon is fast. And it, like, fighting a fast sharking weapon when you are also having to get right up on somebody to kill them with as little range as you have with Dapples and Brush, that is tough. Like, if you want to be able to actually come up on them and challenge that Carbon, you need to have ways of calling them out if you do have 2 members on your team who are much more close range and scrappy.
Well said there. And with Splatzone's Mahi on deck, this kind of going from Rainmaker Undertow to Splatzone's Mahi, I feel like there's just going to be a number of adjustments just for the map mode change here, because now we're getting a lot, a little bit of a smaller map that's, has the way that it's set up is that it's definitely, going to be a little bit tighter early on, and it kind of opens up a little bit more. So Carbon not going to have as much of a fun time here. The ZNF, if it sticks around as well, I think would be fine, but I think it, if they obviously have pencil available, they'll switch out to that as well. So there's going to be a lot of just little adjustments here just for these 2 teams, just on that map mode.
Yeah, I'm looking at what weapons. I know so Che plays a lot of dualies, and I often like playing Tetras here. I don't know if Che plays Dark Tetras in particular. They would give them a little bit more range, not have to be quite as close fighting that Carbon. But and Reef Slider is actually very funny and very fun to do, not even just for the cheese, but just for actually attacking and taking space and taking a space with an opening with your teammates. Really, really great on Mahi zones. I don't know if they'll end up switching to that, but they do have a lot of dualies in their weapon pool.
Well, hopefully we'll get to get a bit of a glimpse of that. But as we do load in, we do see some dapples get brought out. I'm a big fan of this idea here, to be able to just get moving a little bit faster. Duel's just a fast weapon class in general, but have that alongside the beacons and the cooler, that's going to be the thing that we're going to focus on most here. But of course, the apples go down as we say that early on.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a 3v3 without two of the key slayers here on either end.
Yeah, this is like a much more constrained map. If Che actually places some aggressive beacons, if people are paying attention to their map, when you go to a beacon, to an enemy beacon, it will actually show your location on the maps. Like, it's not as good as a point sensor, but like it can help a little bit.
Yeah, if you, especially if you could establish that habit. I know I'm really bad at that, but
yeah.
I know there's a lot of players that are actually quite good at that, and they can make perfect use of it, especially with such a small map such as Mahi. Those beacons, if they are utilized strategically, going to be huge, as we do see Art Supplies early on here getting a pretty strong hold of this zone, but they're gonna have to get rid of a couple members here of Last Squid Standing. But no, that's a 3-down situation, Rose.
Yep, and they just have to hold some space for now. I know the Carbon definitely wants to go up, get some picks, is able to help with that one. Good position for this Carbon right here, and the Wiper just being able to control these ledges. If Art Supplies is not careful, they're just gonna fall right into both the Wiper and the Roller here.
Absolutely. And we do see that Last Squid Standing does get the lead here. So now this cool is going to come out for Last Squid Standing as well. Everyone just slowly rotating to try to collect as much soda as possible. And they are going to continue to go on a tear here. Art Supplies getting locked out and staggered. Oh no! Disaster for Art Supply at this stage. They have one last chance here to make something happen, but not even the crab could stay up for more than a couple seconds. And with one last ditch effort, they are diving the zone. It's a 1v1, Rose.
Che's trying. Oh no, but gets taken out by Ceiling, and that does go to Last Squid Standing. They almost capped it though, to be able to buy themselves a Hail Mary, but just not quite.
What a team fight there at the end, though. I mean, everybody just collapsed in on each other, and it was just pick for pick, all the way until it was just the final 1v1, and that 1v1 was going to determine that match there. Like, whoever won that 1v1 was going to win the game for their team. And Last Squid Standing pulled out. So they got to be hyped up, because especially when you get in that situation where it just kind of comes down to straight mechanics for about 10 seconds, they nailed it. And that's something that your whole team can rally behind, and just kind of everyone starts yelling, "You are so much better."
They did that well. I love Mahi zones. It's so scrappy and fun to watch.
It certainly is. As we get the scoreboard updated, it is going to be 2-0 in favor of Last Squid Standing. And we are going to have Tower Control Ship Shape on deck, Rose. What is your impression of this map mode?
Ship Shape Cargo is an aggressive map where as soon as a team gets past that third checkpoint, it's not guaranteed, but it is a safe bet that they are going to just carry that all the way to a knockout. So you have to make sure that you're holding that high angle on that elbow when they're approaching that third checkpoint. Really, honestly, on the way to the second checkpoint, you need to make sure that you have that space. The Art Supplies does have two scrappy players, so they're going to have maybe a little bit of a harder time with that sort of angle holding there, because they won't have quite the range that they need to. But if they can bring the fight to them and get the jump on Last Squid Standing, there are some funny things that you can do if they're able to play angles move slowly and patiently and then converge all in as just like a murder ball of death, then they could take this back and take this game from Last Squid Standing.
I love that description.
Murder ball of death.
I'm gonna have to use that one from here on out. But no, I love it. Yeah, especially with ship-shaped tower control, there is a lot. This is such a momentum-based map mode. It's gonna be scrappy early on, like you said, because that's how both of these teams have been playing. And once you can start to see that both these teams will clear that first checkpoint, then it's going to be kind of a game of runs where it's just going to be each team just trying to push it as far as possible and try to use as much momentum as possible. Because if you can just, clear through that first checkpoint, there's just the tower doesn't stop until it gets right up into the base. And that is going to be that is going to be the battlegrounds of this game here, is those second checkpoints on either end, and that's where this will be won and lost as we dive into this game. And honestly, Rose, are those dowsers?
Jago! Yeah, Arkham's on the dowsers now. We have double dualies on art supplies.
I cannot believe I'm seeing dowsers in Moody. That is awesome. I love it.
I love it. Yeah, this is a fun dowsers kit too. Honestly, I like this kit in tower control. Being able to use those strikes, control space, they were able to throw them ahead, make sure that there is space for the tower. I maybe would have focused a little bit in mid, but it looks like the rest of the team was able to just move into mid. They're able to pressure this charger. But the Viper is holding down. We have Ceiling coming in, trying to get a pick. They are staying alive, which is huge, and able to get that trade. But 2 go down on the side of Last Squid Standing, as well as 2 on Art Supplies.
Yeah, but Art Supplies is going to try to keep this tower held in a forward aggressive position right now. But Last Squid Standing doing a great job of just pushing them back to their side of the map. But, I mean, in the opening minute to be down to 28 points remaining, that is a substantial push. And
really
now
opening.
but now you got to play defense for that the rest of this time here. You don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get, but to set the tone early on, hey, I would be pretty happy if I'm Art Supplies right now.
Yeah. Oh, and happy able to get that pick. Really, really good. This is time to move up. 2 were down on Last Squid Standing. They can hold space, make sure that they're paying attention to the enemy team. It's like where that charger is.
Oh, and these strikes are going to continue to make it difficult for Last Squid Standing to move on up. The Carbon making a move here on Arkham, but not going to be able to find any value there. The Carbon actually going to get punished instead. Be Happy doing a fantastic job. Be Happy finding another pick, trying to make a move up on this end zap. Not able to do so, but it's going to come in and take out the jump from the Viper. And now Art Supplies trying to force this checkpoint. They're going to just do everything they can. They clear it.
They clear it.
Huge play there.
That's huge. That's huge. Because as soon as you clear that third checkpoint, if they're able to get control of the tower again and control space ahead of tower, they can absolutely just ride that all the way through to the end.
Certainly, and that's if they can get another opportunity here, but they've been doing a great job so far of holding down mid. I mean, we're halfway through this game and Last Squid Standing has yet to be able to cross 97 points remaining, and they get wiped. So Art Supplies will certainly get that additional chance here, Rose.
Oh, they are, yes. Che doing a really, really good job. Jumped out wisely. Honestly, that charger on Last Squid Standing pulled out that wall at just the right time not to go down to those dualies.
Oh man, Be Happy going to be launching those killer whales. More points on the board for Art Supplies. The trip strikes coming through to force the members back and off that tower. They do get 2 picks to go along with it. So once again, Art Supplies, their third push of the game. They bring it all the way down to 9 points remaining. They are just whittling away at this clock. Last Squid Standing has yet to approach that first checkpoint, and they are down to their last 80 seconds.
Yeah, not many more pushes are going to be able to happen. And Art Supplies is looking pretty good. It looks like, that early lead really gave them a lot of momentum. But things are looking a little dicey now. We are going to look like we are going to clear the first checkpoint for Last Squid Standing. They have a lot of mid. and you never know about ship-shaped tower. This could go down. And with that, the hammer throw from Cotton, that is exactly where they need to be. They were controlling that space ahead on that elbow.
Yeah, and
really,
no strip
they're gonna have to be careful. Oh my gosh.
Oh, 37 seconds to go here, and Last Squid Standing is not done with this push yet. They're gonna try to put everything into making this tower move forward and possibly get them the lead right now. These trip strikes coming in, maybe just a tad early, but it is enough to get the Carbon up in an aggressive position. Rose, this is it.
Oh, they might do it.
It's a 1-point game.
It's
oh
one
my
point.
goodness.
Wait, but it's going back now. Triple ink strikes coming out inside of art supplies, but there's still members of Last Squid Standing still alive, but they get wiped, and we have 5 seconds left to go, and that was a 1-point difference.
My jaw is on the floor right now.
Oh my god. A single point. Yeah, if I was art supplies, I would absolutely be screaming in my room.
What a hype way to get your first game of the set to bounce back here. That is crazy stuff right there. That honestly, they were just gonna live and die by these trip strikes here at the very end, and they came up clutch, pushing the members off the tower at the exact right time, despite the numbers disadvantage. They made it happen and were able to get that wipe out.
Arkham did a great job placing those strikes and making sure to control some space, and the rest of the team being able to come in and just pick them off while the team is weakened.
I'm at a loss for words of that one.
I cannot.
You can't get any closer than that. That just crazy back and forth, and it really came down to just a game of inches there. Imagine that Last Squid Standing didn't get that third push off. Art Supplies. My apologies.
Yeah.
Art Supplies did a fantastic job of just continuing to keep that tower forward and just pushing time and time and time again, and it gave them enough of a lead that they could just dig their heels in on the defensive end in those closing seconds, and force the tower to just not go an inch further. It's honestly lost words.
They did so well. So if you're Art Supplies, you are super psyched. You're super hype about this. If you're Last Squid Standing, maybe you're sitting back being like, you know what? Okay, it was 1 point. It was only 1 point. Don't let it get to you. We keep going. We're still up a game.
So, it's gonna be a really contentious match here, just based off of these first few games. So with Clamlet's Barnacle and Dime here loading on in, I'm ready for some more back and forth action between these two teams. Let's take a look at these compositions, Rose. It seems like Last Squid Standing not going to be making too many adjustments, and it looks like Art Supply's very happy with what they got out of their composition in that last game.
Yeah, you know what? Their dousers did really well. I could totally see being like, you know what? Ink strikes are nice. Maybe let's just keep using that.
Yeah, certainly. Definitely going to be a little bit harder to get the same kind of value out of those ink strikes here on Clamlet's Barnacle, since the objective just is not going to be something that gets fully cleared out by those trip strikes. But if you're feeling the weapon as a whole, there's 3 parts to these kits. So it seems like they really are happy with the Dowser choice early on.
Yeah, it's really Burst Bomb along with the Killer Whale. Arkham's doing great. Playing those dousers, you do have that nice flexibility between going in and being scrappy and taking those scrappy fights with your other frontliners like the Dapples and the Brush, but you also have that long range spread mode. You can sit back a little bit with your other long range player.
And a nice use of the soda there as well. Everybody on the team getting a bit of that juice instantly, and that's going to open the gates here for a push out of Art Supplies. They get the 1 Power Clam in and 8 Little Clams on top of it, but they are not done yet. Pity Clam being picked up from that early score from Last Squid Standing, and they're going to score that in as well. A huge push there. That's going to be the end of it, though, as Art Supplies does go 2 down, but 70 points on an opening push, Rose, is a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, that's a really, really great opening with 1.5 minutes into the game. if you can get more pushes, you go for it, but even just being able to threaten pushes is fantastic when you're sitting at 30 points left to score.
Yeah, they're going to have to do the same thing that they kind of did in that last game. Dig their heels in, put up a strong defensive front to slow down Last Squid Standing as they are trying to make an advance towards their basket. And not able to, well, the Dark Supply is doing a great job of it so far, as Last Squid Standing not able to get there quite yet. They're doing a great job of holding mid, but just can't get up onto the stack area. Be Happy with the brush, going to be taking a trade there. And now it looks like someone actually sneaked in and forced the push. It's going to be the Zap. But this will be a one and done push, no more value. But at the very least, you're slowly chipping away at the scoreboard. So it's not a bad strategy by any means, especially when you still got half the game remaining to just chip away.
Yeah, you do have to be aware that you are giving your opponent a pity clam. So there's always that to be aware of. But, you know, if they can just stay prepared for that, sometimes giving your opponent the pity clam and making sure you have a good defense and you can just push in again, sometimes that's what you need to get things going. Sometimes Clam Blitz is a big single push, and sometimes it is a war of attrition.
It certainly can be, as we are going to be seeing some aggressive beacons or aggressive jumping there. Not sure where they're trying to go with that one, but at the very least kind of just help them reposition a little bit for the time being. Art Supplies still holding on to mid, trying to get another push going following the one and done by Last Squid Standing. It's going to be a couple of trades here in mid. Now, this is really going to come down to who can win this team fight, it seems, as it's going to be Ceiling making a play, picking off one, picking off two. Huge value there from Ceiling, but no follow-up. So Ceiling's just going to have to continue to hold position and see how fast the rest of the team can come back in with some clams, because they just don't have the clam economy in their favor at this stage.
Oh, good Zuka. Yeah, you know, I was looking earlier and I was thinking, you know, both these teams have a lot of clams on them. Whoever wins this team fight is going to immediately score. But then just enough people went down on Last Squid Standing, so despite Ceiling's really, really good picks, the rest of their team going down just slowed things down enough for them that it really wasn't worth it for them to go ahead and do another like 10 points on just one power play of being thrown in.
Yeah, we're starting to get late enough in the game that these one and done pushes are going to start to be out of the question. You really need to make sure that you're going to get a big extended push whenever you do find a path to the basket. But that's going to have to start by getting a couple of picks first, with Last Squid Standing on the back foot now at a numbers disadvantage. They're scrambling to find something, and there's two. That is the exact thing that they needed to see there. Oh. And it's going to be Chad that goes down as well. Oh, this is going to be massive, Rose.
This is huge. They have a power clam ready. They're grabbing clams. They're able to score. They're already looking like they're going to get past 50, but they have no more clams remaining on hand. They do have space under the basket, and they get a wipe. They need clams. They need to throw them in now, but it is closed.
Okay, but they got lucky there because it closed before regulation ended, so they will be afforded overtime. So they do pick up the pity. They're going to be diving on in here. Two members go down. It's not going to be enough. Everybody's diving for this power clam, and it is a Last Squid Standing wipeout. That will be Gabe. Art Supplies tying up the set.
Oh, so close. I mean, honestly, that was so scrappy there at the end.
It was, and the fact that they just could not find a clam for the life of them. Just nothing was spawning.
Yeah,
it was like, no, like, please, Last Squid Standing, like, find something. But no clams were in their vicinity. So at the very least, they just let the basket close up right in the nick of time. And they were able to at least get the pity. Tried for one more opportunity there, but just was not enough. That basket closing really just messed up the flow of that final push.
It did. I think if they had been able to throw in at least one clam to buy more time on the basket being open for some more, for others to come in with some clams, or even the pity coming in, I think they would have won that in overtime. But sadly, a clam was not in their grasp when they needed it.
Yeah, Well, that's gonna be one that they're gonna look back on for sure. Just be like, like, you know, we really could have had that if just something went our way, like at the end there. So it is what it is. You brush it off. No pun intended there. And you move on to the next one,
Hee
which is
hee
going to
ha
be
ha.
Manta on Rainmaker.
Yeah, Manta Mirror Rainmaker. This is gonna be interesting for both these teams that are very fight heavy between a lot of those quick, scrappy frontliners. Because Manta Maria has a very wide open area in mid, but then it gets much more constrained in streets. And I think that's where we're gonna see a lot of people going down on pushes.
Certainly. So you know, we've been saying that these two teams have been scrappy from the start, and yeah, Manta is just going to elevate that even further. So close quarters combat is the name of the game, and once again, I anticipate a game of inches between these two. So it's gonna just be who can get down into that pit first, and who's gonna be able to just force it forward. Like, make sure that you don't go, especially on these pushes, don't get fully wiped, because if you can just keep a couple people alive as the Rainmaker goes down, you'll be able to keep these pushes going and just quickly just add 1 point at a time. So it looks like that Riley moving over to that Nautilus with Splashdown, that's going to be part of the strategy here.
Yeah, and Ceiling also switched off of Roller over to the V-Shot. So that'd be interesting. I imagine they wanted a little bit more range. And honestly, I can see like that Explo holding down Street really, really well with that triple splashdown.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see that come into play here. There's so many different ledges as well, but it is Art Supply that is going to be in with the early grab, and they have really set the pace of this game so far. Actually being a little bit slow with this Rainmaker movement, it's going to be Ceiling that moves on in and actually takes out the Rainmaker +1. So that will put a stop to Art Supply's push here in last squid standing. Oh, a beautiful hammer there by Cotton. That looked like Art Supply's early on, full control in those first 30 seconds, and a 1-2 punch from Ceiling and Cotton has quickly flipped it.
That hammer said, beep beep, get out of the way, because I'm popping the Rainmaker, and you're going down with it.
They really did, honestly. But now they're going to have to make a play with the Rainmaker here. They do get the lead. They're going to try to force it over on the right side. And this is actually a genius play, as all of Art Supplies was on the left side of the map there, leaving the path open. They just snuck it through and was saying, hey, we're going to get the checkpoint. As long as we have it and they don't, that gives us so many more opportunities through the rest of this game.
Yeah, that they can just run it through later on. Getting that first check is really, really good. Be Happy holding this now. Gonna try to force their way through mid. They're not playing too reckless just yet, but Ceiling is coming on through, trying to get down the Rainmaker. Happy forced to go back and does go down. Art Supply's not able to make a push there.
Oh, but look at this. Oh, a shutdown on the jump out. That is a huge play. This should be checkpoint for Art Supplies. But take a look. Ceiling going to try to make a play here. Able to shut down the Rainmaker before it could get up that pedestal. But they still have the numbers in their favor. This should still be an Art Supplies checkpoint, although just a little bit delayed. Although, twice.
But twice is double right there. Able to stop that check from happening. And now Last Squid Standing can just start running through. And if Art Supplies groups up again on the left, Twice could sneak through elsewhere.
Not going to happen this time, though. As they do lose 2 members, this Rainmaker is going to be pushed all the way back. And what looked like an unfortunate situation for Art Supplies might end up being a blessing here, as they are just getting picks left and right. They are staggering the heck out of Last Squid Standing right now. So they will finally get an opportunity to clear that checkpoint much cleaner there. As they will also get the pop. They just need to inch it a bit forward, and they have the lead.
Oh, nice. They weren't able to drop it all the way down, but they do get it to 39. Not enough to, like, you know, say like, oh, nice, we can play it super easy and calm now. But you can feel a lot better getting that lead, and they can know to not always play super aggressively and make sure that the other team is having to put themselves into dangerous situations instead.
Certainly. 1:15 to go at this stage. And Dooley's moving on in, trying to make a quick play, dancing around the members of Last Withstanding, but not able to find any value. Numbers advantage, actually swinging back into Art Supply's favor. Last Withstanding trying to make a play to move up just a little bit. They're waiting for an open window, trying to rely on their teammates here to get a couple of picks, but it's Che that comes through and is able to find 2, and that's going to slow things down a lot for Last Withstanding. They're going to have to quickly find a way to reestablish their control of mid, keep that paint down, and hopefully another window opens. This might be it, Rose.
This might be it. That Zuka and now the Crab coming out, really good offensive power. But unfortunately, that push does get delayed right there. Juice is coming on out. We got 3 people right there. Hammer coming out, gets a pick. Possibly able to get lead here? Yes, we're down to 34. And they could keep going. They could go all the way.
They can, and they're going to swing it on to the left side there. A bit of an awkward position, but they said, hey, it's late enough in the game that we don't need to run it straight down. You know, as long as we keep it in this awkward position. And like I had said at the start of this game, it's going to be a matter of just keeping a couple people alive to follow up on the Rainmaker when it inevitably goes down. And Last Withstanding did that beautifully to open up this lead to 18 points. And now Art Supplies has to take this Rainmaker coast to coast if they want to win this.
And with that Crab out, controlling all of mid. Fortunately, Arkham's, we had both those triple ink strikes and that Explo special come out to take care of the Crab, but still not enough to create space.
Oh, what a game between these two. Like, we're saying that every single game, Rose.
It's
like,
so back and forth.
It is. And that's what the craziest part about this. I think both teams just have been relatively dominant up to this stage. I mean, Art Supplies just dominated their group stage. Last Withstanding has had a pretty clean playoff run themselves. And now it's these two forces that are finally just clashing, and they're like, oh, this is tough. Like, they're earning every single point of these games.
Just like, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object?
Exactly.
They're just going back and forth constantly, and I'm really enjoying seeing the comps on both sides, especially Art Supplies' double dualies has been so much fun.
It has, and it has been a really good combination for them. This is the first time that they're taking a loss with that double dually combo. So I'm curious to see if they're gonna make adjustments or if they, just want to run with it still, because they've dominated, the middle part of that game. So I'm curious to see, how that's going to change their mentality moving into splat zones on Hagglefish.
Yeah, we will have to be wary of anybody who's playing a short frontline weapon. If we do see some of those longer range backlines come out, like that Charger coming out, Hagglefish can be a very nice place for these longer range sniper players to just sit back and force others to come to them while they're sitting safe and sound in the back. But we'll see if they're able to move together in that murder blob formation. Then especially honestly, like Arkham's dousers with those triple ink strikes would absolutely be able to move any long range player trying to sit back and just force them to move when they decide, like, okay, now's a good time. We're gonna make them move. Everybody move in with these triple ink strikes.
Well, these teams are ready to go. Lot Zone's Hagglefish on deck here. It is 3-2. Last Withstanding up right now. Game number 6. Let's do this, Rose. It seems like we have not really any adjustments here after all, like I was thinking.
Yeah, not a whole lot. We do have that Crab edit on both sides, and that's going to be our long range here. Otherwise, we've got a lot of short range.
Yeah, and that Zuka, though, from ceiling is going to be pretty massive here. It just does a really good job of, if they can get a wipe and start moving up, it's going to be fantastic to just reach right over the ledge, as it's not that high, and you're going to be able to have so much control there. And with this hammer kind of leading the charge right now, that could be an opportunity for Last Squid Standing to, quickly build up some specials and continue to hold Art Supplies in their spawn.
We had a crab battle here between the two crab edits. We don't have... Okay, finally we do get a zone going towards Art Supplies, but it's going back and forth quite a bit. Both sides trying to hold on to mid here. I'm wondering if we're going to see either team... There we go. We're going to start seeing some action over there. Unfortunately, trade does go down, but it was a good time to start actually taking the action off of the zone once you're in control.
Oh, and a nice couple of hits here. Oh, it is an absolute bloodbath right now in the zone, as members of both teams going down left and right. It's just a chain at this stage, Rose. If one person picks off the next person, who picks off the next person, who picks off the next person. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to see all 8 players alive, really, like, for much time at all during this game. It's just going to go back and forth, people picking each other off a lot.
And now the trip strikes coming in to force the flip of the zone, but no, they only get a neutral. And it's actually going to be Last Squid Standing that's going to hold on here despite the numbers disadvantage at this stage. But there's just so much of that pink ink on the ground right now that it is just really difficult for Art Supplies to make a play happen, even when they have the numbers advantage. And it's down to
Yes!
was that a delayed wipe on both teams?
Yeah, that got stalled in zone for a little bit, but Last Squid Standing able to get control back. You have Crab Edit holding back here. Strikes coming out, forcing them to move. Whenever you have that control of zone, you're glad when the other team is being forced to use some specials to get in, because then that's resources they're not going to have for when they're fighting you. Art Supplies was able to get it back, though. The triple ink strikes were placed really, really well, forcing the other team to move back. Cotton not able to get a pick with that hammer coming out, unfortunately. You do see, fortunately, Art Supplies is holding forward a little bit, just enough to hold forward to make sure that they're bringing the fight ahead of the zone and not onto the zone now.
And we do see that lead swap. Art Supplies grabs control of this game and would be happy on the brush, just sharking around, making it very difficult for the members of Last Squid Standing to get back into the zone. They're going to have one more opportunity to do so. Quickly building up specials, sealing with the Zuka, popping all 3 shots, not finding any value there. And now they're going to all have to rush this zone to make something happen. Sealing going to actually peel off and pick a different 1v1. And now everything goes into this zone. It is neutralized, but it's not going to be enough from Last Squid Standing, as Art Supplies again is tying the set. That is, I cannot believe this right now, Rose.
I said I wanted a set of 9 games, so...
And so it shall be.
What path?
To 3-3.
We are on that path for sure. So it's comes down to a best of 3,
next
really.
3 games are where it's at. Both teams are gonna really, you're crossing your fingers, doing your best to say, okay, we need to take the next 2. Like, we have to.
When I say that you jinxed this, you jinxed us.
What?
Yeah, we definitely.
What do you think, DRF? What do you think about sealing moving into a 1v1 at the end? Do you think that was worth it? They probably weren't in a super great position already to go for the zone, or should have they just completely beelined the zone and ignored that fight?
I didn't hate the 1v1 there. I think that their energy would have been slightly better spent, actually going towards that zone, because they end up kind of getting a bit sandwiched here anyways. Ends up being a trade, so obviously, it's easy to say that they should have just went for the zone instead, but I do think in that situation it wasn't a bad choice, but I think given where that heavy edit was positioned, if they kind of just pivoted over to the zone instead and helped pick a fight in that direction, they could have had a little bit more ink there to try to force the flip and extend the game. But again, it's one of those things where hindsight's obviously 2020. So I didn't hate the decision in the moment, but obviously looking at it now, maybe that other option would have resulted in the zone flip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to say, especially when you're in it, because like you don't necessarily want to show your back to the opponent as you're, running towards the objective, especially if you're the person who dies on the objective and, just like gives the opponent like a ton of their ink color on the zone. Like you don't want to do that either. But yeah, just a tough place to be in. And Art Supplies played that really, really well.
They did, and they're keeping themselves in this set. I mean, it's 2 games for one team, 2 games for the other, 1-1. It's back and forth in the games and back and forth on the scoreboard. So Art Supplies just kind of continue to just be one step behind here, but now with Mako, TC, they're going to be looking to take their first lead of the set, and I think that is certainly doable. I've liked how they played that last tower control game. So if they can replicate that here, I think they can certainly accomplish that.
They could. And their tower control game went really well on ship shapes. So you're like, oh, okay, same thing, different map. Like we can do this again.
Yes, absolutely. So let's see, what this ultimately ends up being. It seems like we actually are remaking the lobby, so there's going to possibly be maybe some substitutions, or folks just thought that they might have not been feeling the way that the little bit of lag here and there. I'm not sure. So that is the reason for the prolonged stall here between these individual games currently, because both these teams have been really fast in between games. Like they know exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, because they really haven't been switching up very much.
Yeah, they kind of just make a small adjustment here and there, but that's literally it. They just afterwards make one adjustment and like, we like this, we're just gonna keep going with it. And I don't blame them, especially with the stakes this high. It's not really the place that you want to be doing a whole lot of experimenting, and especially in the final third of this set, you just really need to settle into what's working best for you. It's less about adjustments at this stage and more about just sheer willpower.
Yeah, you just play what you know. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't panic over going, oh, but what if we did this instead? This one thing that, would be good in theory, but we haven't really practiced it yet.
Certainly. So these teams starting to get readied up now. I'm looking forward to see, if these teams are gonna, especially sealing on that carbon. I know we've talked a lot about them in this, but I think that would be a crucial pivot here, just because this is a carbon playground.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
So if sealing could bring that out, and if we can continue to see more beacons, because I feel like we talked about the beacons early on from Art Supplies, but I would love to see more of it, because I think that's going to be a great way to counter what might be an inevitable pivot here.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that pivot ends up happening. We are going into a tiebreaker, seeing who is going to get that 4th game in a best of 5.
And the exact adjustments that I had anticipated there from Last Good Standing, bringing out the ZNF carbon once again.
But no beacons from Che, switching over to the Nouveau Dapples with Reef Slider and Torpedo.
I'm okay with that, actually. I think the Torpedo will still accomplish what they would have had with the beacons in terms of just trying to call out these sharkers on the side of Last Squid Standing. So, it's obviously just going to be a little bit slower, but you'll be able to more safely navigate. It's going to be a little bit slower going, but
Che's going in. Che rolling around was able to get, I believe, 2 right there. And yeah, those torpedoes are going to be huge for calling out that roller, but that ZF able to pick them off.
Oh, and now finally, after what was a 45-second team fight there, we are seeing the tower being ridden for the first time, although these trip tricks are going to come out and make this one a little bit difficult to get through that first checkpoint, but they do clear it. Although I don't think they're going to get many more points on top of this. Actually, no, they're going to get right back on and say, this train's still going.
No, I think Last Squid Standing just started to really panic there and started funneling in one by one with their front lines and just got completely taken out.
Yeah, and now finally, though, Art Supplies is pushed back. Last Squid Standing going to pop this cooler, provide a little bit of extra protection on that tower. I love when people are able to utilize the cooler just as an extra wall, essentially. But Be Happy is just going to come from behind and shut this one down, preserving checkpoint number 1 for their team. And this is now going to just break out into an all-out team fight once again, in which Last Squid Standing seems like they're going to win this one out. So while the tower does reel back to neutral, it is still in their control, and they're going to give this checkpoint a second go.
Oh, yeah, that Reef Slider not able to do too much going towards the tower. The angle was just not quite right to take out that charger, but Art Supplies was able to get the wipe. That is huge, and Last Squid Standing has still not cleared the first check, while Art Supplies is preparing for another check. Did get cooler out, 2 went down. They'll be back immediately.
Yeah, so very quick on the respawn there, and this tower will neutralize, but once again, it's these teams are doing a great job of just holding neutral to advance this tower forward and keep it in an aggressive position, but we're just getting inches at a time on these pushes. It seems like that maybe Art Supply is going to be able to get some value out of this tower push right now, able to add on at least a dozen points. They're going to take this all the way to checkpoint 2, but it looks like it's going to stall there for now. No, a wonderful take out there. Be Happy with the double.
Getting a triple. No, and you know what? That was wise.
Wait,
here we go. Just had to take a break before getting the quad.
Stop it. Be Happy with the quad there. This is the oh no zone. The Carbon trying to make a hero play.
But Art
able to get the stop for a second, but it's not enough. Art Supplies takes the lead for the first time this set,
bringing this to 4 wins. They need only 1 more win among these next 2 games. And if you are Last Squid Standing, you are sweating knowing that you have to win the next 2.
Hey, it's better than being in a bigger deficit. You know, 2 games, it's just 2 games. That's all you need to do is lock in for 10 more minutes, and you can still come from behind and win this. Art Supplies doesn't even want to entertain a game 9. They want the crowd to go home early, or not even early, because we're actually kind of running into the next set. So they want to get the next set going on time is what they want to do.
What did I say? What did I say?
Well,
I want 9 games, Saf.
Oh, we're gonna get 9 games, gosh darn it.
I mean, at this rate, just gentlemen's 9.
We'll do the CCA style. We'll just play all the games, regardless. Art Supplies, though, definitely struggled in this early part of the set, and they have now hit their stride, winning 4 of the past 5 games, putting themselves 1 game away from grand finals in Division 8A.
They're moving on to Inkblot Clams. Honestly, I think this is a map mode that could go either way for these teams. I could see this being a good map for both of them, but I do kind of hope that Ceiling stays on the Carbon Deco on this. It's obviously it's a very, very good pick on Mako, and so I'm not surprised they played it there. And it's not to say that Zuka isn't good on Inkblot, because it is. It's Zuka. It's just good, but
it's just good.
I think Ceiling is just really, really good at that roller and putting on the pressure. And there are going to be some fun little ledges that they can totally just hang down at the bottom and fling some ink on up above.
Yeah, and that's if they go that direction. So I don't think they could go either wrong with a couple other picks here. Gonna see what the rest of the orchestra is bringing out. A pencil for the first time this set. They are going to live and die by this choice here. Twice.
We're running double cooler on the side of Last Squid Standing.
I like that. I like it a lot. If they can just play at a lightning fast pace with these 2 coolers, I think this will be pretty beneficial to match the pace that Art Supplies has been trying to set in these last few games. And if you could just outpace them, you might be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, honestly, just having both those coolers, if you are making sure that you're going to constantly enable your wiper and your carbon, it's good. But things are going all the way for art supplies right now. Able to get down to 62. They might not be able to get a whole lot more on this push. Last Squid Standing was able to hold them. Really, really good that they held them to 62. That like magic number that ideally you want to get to in that first push is down to 60. So that if the other team throws in a power clam and their pity clam, it is still tied in, will end up going in your favor.
Yeah, and a good opening push there by Art Supplies. An even better stop, in my opinion, from Last Squid Standing. They had a couple of special and bomb placements there that stopped the bleeding a lot sooner than what I was anticipating based off of how Art Supplies had played that opening minute. So for now, it is going to be really a one-score game between these two teams. Last Squid Standing closing the gap marginally, but it's not going to take much for them to get the lead. Should they, well, if and when, in my opinion, they do get that second push off.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think either team is going to be sitting here at where the score is now.
Well, 3 minutes to play. Ceiling making a move, rolling right by V Happy, and it's going to be a trade between the two. Art Supplies finding themselves 3 down. Arkham trying to use these trip strikes to just stall as long as possible, doing a fantastic job of it, actually. And that might have been enough to just prevent the big push here out of Last Squid Standing. They will get the score off, and that's a 2 power clam push plus the lead, but it is a wipeout for Last Squid Standing, so they're gonna have to respawn quickly. And hey, that's what that double cooler is ultimately going to be for. They can now get away with these types of pushes and just commit everything into getting the lead, and now they're back in fast. Art Supplies, they barely have control of mid right now.
See, Happy's really, really trying to get some space here, but was getting just constantly bombarded by the other team. There was no way they could really get in, especially as soon as they accidentally, what I think accidentally built a power clam. They were immediately getting called out for where they were.
Absolutely, but 2 power clams in Art Supply's arsenal right now. They're gonna make an advancement forward. They throw the power clam ahead. It's a 2v2 situation, a bloodbath on the ramp of Last Squid Standing, and Last Squid Standing finds the extra pick. We get the jelly big making their painting on the rooftop there. A minute 45 to play. Last Squid Standing holds on. Way the pencil reached that.
Oh, that pencil has deceptively long range. You always think like, oh, that pencil can't hit me from there. Like, no, the pencil reaches very, very far.
Oh, a great play. And now Last Squid Standing knocking on the doorstep of Art Supplies. They are ready for another push. They get the power clam in, but it's not enough to wipe the penalty. They still need a one more clam that they're not going to be able to find here. So it's a one and done, an extra power clam for Art Supplies to work with. They have 2 in their hands and 1 under the basket. Should they get a push here, it's only going to take 2 to get the lead.
Yeah, and there are 2 down on the side of Last Squid Standing. Your Art Split, you got to go in right now. That crab's getting popped, trying to create some space. Ink strikes are coming out. They're going to get both those 2. They are able to get the lead, and that is huge. They don't even have to commit that third one yet. It is looking way too dicey to try to get that one in, but getting down to that lead with 40 seconds to go is huge. It's not a big lead, but it's still, you never know. It might take way too long to get another push going.
And all it takes is 1 power clam for Last Squid Standing to get the lead back. Again, a game of inches between these two. That's been the story all night long as the hammer makes a move towards the basket, not able to find a value there. And it's going to be a couple of bombs swinging through. Last Squid Standing trying to open the door. It's 10 seconds remaining. They have 2 power clams to work with. They only need 1. Riley sharking this corner here, trying to block this ledge with their life, but it's the hammer from behind! The jump in! It's gonna be good! We are going to a game 9 here in Division 8A semifinals!
9 games, 9 games, 9 games.
9 games, 9 games! Let's go, Rose!
Yo, my camera for specking is so busted.
Oh! What a game, what a set so far. A classic here on Looney tonight between Last Squid Standing and Art Supplies. They take this the full 9 yards, and it all comes down to this. Rainmaker on Humpback Pub Track, a ticket to grand finals on the line.
My heart is beating. Also, I want to say that Ludi is evil for making this the game 9 because Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker. Okay, one, it is actually really, really fun to watch. So also thank you, Ludi, for scheduling it like this. This is amazing. This is so much fun to watch. But if you are playing it, like, I don't care how big of a lead you have on Humpback Rainmaker. Until you get that knockback, nothing is safe.
These two teams have been back and forth all day, and you're so right. For this to be game 9 is devious because we're about to get about a dozen lead changes, and it's all gonna come down to the last 30 seconds. You know it. So there's no expectations at this point. Everything is out the window. You just need to lock in if you're these two teams and just put your best foot forward. You know, it's again, you're just really trying to just force this Rainmaker 1 point at a time, and they're gonna earn it every single step of the way for 5 minutes straight.
This is anybody's match. We've seen anything in this game. Is that these teams are equally matched. They're playing very, very well against one another. Leads are constantly changing. Picks are constantly being exchanged. We're getting tons of trades. We're getting wipes on one another. You know, one team gets wiped and then the other team gets wiped. I couldn't say who's going to win this set. I'm just super excited to be able to watch it.
You might as well flip a coin. Like, that's your best guess. I don't think there's any sort of scientific or statistical way that we could realistically predict this game. And oh my goodness, Yellow, what a time to bring out the Tri-Navo. They are sticking with this double cooler combo, but they are going with that Tri-Slosher because of how this map is shaped. You're going to be able to get so much more reach with this Tri-Slosher. I love this, and not just because I'm a Tri-Slosher main.
Bucket go brrr on Humpback. Is a good map for it.
What a ballsy time to make a comp adjustment like this. We haven't seen it all set. And I commend them for that, as early on it is Last Squid Standing with that pop and with a little bit more control, I feel, of this map over Art Supplies. But Art Supplies doing a great job of utilizing some of these specials to just clear out the members of Last Squid Standing, get them staggered just a little bit. But it's the heavy edit that gets a double there, and it's another bloodbath once again.
Oh, Che trying with that reef slider. I felt that. Just was not able to get moving fast enough to get those invincibility frames going. Ceiling coming out. Gets a pick with that Zuka. Trying to find some more. Trying to stay alive. Wasn't able to get that trade on Che. Che's going to start pushing in hard now.
And the crazy thing is we are a minute in and neither team has scored more than 15 points. It looks like Last Squid Standing's trying to get the lead here, finally able to do so, but I don't think they'll get this checkpoint. No, that's going to go ahead and get shut down. Che making a move into mid, trying to find one. They do get, teammate comes in, pick up the second, and that is a stagger, or complete wipeout actually, my apologies. And now Art Supply is looking to respond, trying to clear that first checkpoint, but Last Squid Standing already just sending everything they got to try to stop this Rainmaker, but it's not going to be any good. They're going to concede this checkpoint, but again, honestly, this means nothing right now. It's a slight advantage in Art Supply's favor.
Yep. Ceiling came in happy, trying to get a push in, but they're all alone. Twice is able to take them out. 38 feels good. It's a lead, but you got wiped for that, and you never know. Nothing is safe on Humpback, so don't count out Last Squid Standing just yet.
And everybody cooled up now as well. So Last Squid Standing gonna try to make a run down to this checkpoint. It looks like they will get it. So we are pretty evened up here. Art Supplies did get a nice push. Be Happy was just forcing that Rainmaker as far as they could in that push for Art Supplies. Last Squid Standing gonna take that checkpoint, actually reel themselves back into mid. They want to hold control here, not get themselves wiped out. They think that they can get so much more value if they just play a little bit patient here.
Yeah, and that's honestly not a bad way to go, but Cotton.
No. No way Che got that.
I cannot believe. I don't know how Che got that. I thought that hammer for sure got them.
Oh, but here it comes. Last Squid Standing, only 2 members up for this push. They're gonna hold this elbow. They're trying to just dance around the ink splatters. Oh, and somehow gonna get the pick here. That's 3 down. The ink strike's coming in. It's
They're
a
still
lead.
going. They're still going. They
22
get
points
all
remaining.
all the way down to 22, and they're able to get that pop and the hammers out, clearing the way. Unfortunately, yellow does go down there, so that is going to be a little bit of a pause, but not a stop just yet. But it was a little bit of a pause all the way down to 16 now.
But this is exactly how you got to play it. Last Squid Standing executing perfectly on this push, just making sure that they have individuals that are ready to follow up on that Rainmaker. They got an additional about dozen points there on that Rainmaker push, and that was effectively 3 little pushes all staggered together. And now they have a pretty substantial lead. Art Supplies with just over a minute to go, plus overtime if they can force it, to try to make something happen here, but Ceiling dropping in from the ceiling to get that pick. Oh, a beautiful play to slow this one down.
Yeah, Cotton picked that up, but was going to go down really quickly. Art Supplies has got control of mid right now, but they don't have control of that elbow just yet, so they cannot force it forward. We have 45 seconds left to go. There's not too much more time for Art Supplies to make their game-winning push, to get forward into grand finals. Everything is down on the line. These last 30 seconds, that Reef Slider coming in right 5. Not able to get a pick, was able to get some paint down, but is this going to be enough for them to finally get some space to move forward?
Well, it is going to be a Rainmaker reset, but Art Supplies finds themselves 3 down. Last Squid Standing, trying to see what they want to do here. Holding mid beautifully right now. 10 seconds to go. This is it. The last stand for Art Supplies, but they're not going to be able to get to the Rainmaker as they are now staggered. 2 members go down. It is just Riley, and it's not going to be any good. Last Squid Standing wins a thrilling 9-game set here to advance to the grand finals. Oh my goodness.
That was neck and neck the entire time. I feel like if Art Supplies had had a little bit more time, or it moved a little bit quicker and a little bit more in sync earlier on, they absolutely could have forced overtime and won that. But you never know. And these 2 teams were just so well matched.
We should have just put this on recon mode. Like, honestly, just put it on recon mode. Let these 2 teams duke it out for an hour. Like, we're still gonna be getting back and forth until somebody eventually knocks it out. Like, that, I think that's the crazy thing. Like, Ludi, we need recon to be in these sets in next season. Make that like the season 16 twist. You play until you knock out. Oh, honestly, just a phenomenal set between these 2. Last Squid Standing just gets by after. I mean, it's perfectly symmetrical scoreboard there. They win the first 2, the middle game and the back 2.
You're right. That is so aesthetically pleasing.
It is. It actually is. So
Wow.
Hey, both teams should be very, very proud that was a phenomenal set, and Last Squid Standing will now get to contend for a division title.
Yeah, they will be going up against Hoot Hoot Recruits in the Division 8 Grand Finals.
Whew. Oh, Rose.
Oh my
I'm tired.
gosh.
You're
I didn't
tired.
even play that set.
Anytime any of you come on here and you're like, hey, I want a game 9, it's like, well, and so it shall be.
Yeah,
I'm
really
tired
did
in the
ask
best way
for it.
possible.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I make jokes about it, but all in all, it's fine. But every time we're always like, hey, so we're running a little bit late, but a lot of times the next set is always watching too, so they're just like, oh, it's
true.
totally fine. We're down the hang. But yeah, wow, a very aesthetically pleasing scoreboard on the bottom here. I mean, we had a really, like, you know, we were kind of like, all right, Last Squid Standing is here to play, but then Art Supplies kind of clapped back pretty quick in games 3 and 4. So then that was like, all right, that's convincing. The Art Supplies woke up, they're here to play. Let's get something cooking. But then Last Squid Standing coming back and being like, actually, hold on a minute. Like, you guys, you know what? You're locked in, but like we lock in harder. And then again, the same song and dance down the line for games 6 through 9. So it's interesting to see the momentum change frequently over the set, and especially because this set did last us over an hour.
And that was like the entire story of each game. It was just, we saw momentum changing hands back and forth constantly.
Yeah, and you couldn't get any more even than these two teams facing off. So what a show they put on. And the show's gonna continue, Saf, right? Like, this isn't
it. Must go on. It must go on. It must. But you know, that is A-okay with us. We gotta be hopping into our next set soon, so I have to let you both go. But DRF, can you please tell me, will I be seeing you at Riptide?
Yes, you absolutely will be seeing me at Riptide. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy will be there. I guess, you know, one of them's obligated to be there. They run the darn event, but we will be there. So yes, but thank you all so much for having me. So hopefully I'll see both of you at Riptide. But I guess to plug myself real quick, Twitter, DRF_Splatoon, Twitch, TritonDRF, and as usual, over at the CCA for all things collegiate Splatoon.
Yippee! Rose, what about you? Any Riptide plans?
Sadly, I will not be at Riptide this year. I'm gonna try to make it next year. I'm gonna try. Sorry, you had to see me at LTC. Otherwise, you gotta come to New York for all the Metro Inc. lands. I go to those as often as I can, as they run seasonally. So you can find me at whenever the next Metro Inc. event is. And otherwise, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, all the various places, YouTube, as Rose of Battle.
Wonderful. Well, you guys, I appreciate you both so very much. It was just wonderful to have you on. We are going to go to a brief break while we get our next commentators in and get into the room for our next game. But you guys, don't go anywhere. The action continues. Remember, you are watching Ludi Tonight on SplatoonTourney. We will be right back. Hey, you guys, welcome back to Ludi tonight on SplatoonTourney, and joining me here, I have two of my most favorite people ever. I have, oh, not DRF and Rose, actually. It's really Keon and Nito, but, you know, that's not the whole story. Yep. I obviously don't have the whole story here.
The whole story here is we actually need to assume different identities. That's exactly what what that entails.
Yeah.
And by the way, before you chime in here, Saf, Nito, I'd like to congratulate TZS on winning Division 3.
You're so funny. You got jokes, huh? You've got so much jokes saying the whole TZS thing. I know you're gonna start with this. You know what? I don't have the shirt for it. I just have this like Los Angeles 1984 shirt, which I mean, I don't know. It might be there in 4 years from now. But you're so funny, huh?
Yeah, but so are you. Like, so are you though.
I mean, you're funny too, Nito.
I'll take it. Yeah, thanks. I'll take it. I mean, I need all that funniness to just mask what I saw like a few hours ago. Why don't you tell us about it, Keon? You clearly know about it.
Well, I guess we should start. Well, first of all, TCS was winning the Division 3 finals, and then we had a packed schedule throughout the rest of the day. So we're trying to get everything all loaded up here, everything all started. And I'm not sure that's the cue, Seth, if you still wanted to keep on going, or if we're just yapping along as we go about it. But yeah, we got ourselves a fun Division 5 matchup here, Nito.
Yeah, fire away.
All right, it's a good little cleanser to hopefully have you forget that that result happened here. Nito, what do you have to know about both teams here in Division 5 at the very least?
So, both of these teams finished 5-0 in their group. Both of these teams had a not so rocky path to this matchup we have here. Although it is worth noting, this is something we talked about before the set. Insomniac Central, throughout the group stage, dropped one game. One whole game, which I think, as far as from what I've seen, both playing in Division 5 and watching Division 5, I haven't seen happen in a very long time.
That is true. Yeah, that's true. And they've only won a combined 25-1 map record-wise in group stages. They finally got challenged, at least for them, finally against Almnuts in top 16, which was a 5-4, went to game 9, and then they quickly rebounded to finishing their job against Carmesi Colony OAR, or for short, 5-0 as well, another sweep. So they're looking to continue that trend here, Nito. This, so far, though, Insomniac Central looking to be a very dominant team. Caution's going to have other ideas up ahead of them because they also finished first in their groups. They had an assortment of many different records, though, to have them get to 5-0.
And one thing I love about Caution, and one thing DRF's going to love about Caution, is that it's all CCA players. I know there's a lot of names I can name off, right? I can name off where Chrono being the one that pops up almost immediately. Also Colombo, which I know Chrono's a big Colombo fan. I'm a big Colombo fan too. I respect that. But like I said, there's a lot of CCA names. So congrats to them for making it this far and making it all the way to semifinals. I can't wait to see what they bring, as both teams look like they're getting closer to getting ready. I mean, we're already waiting on one player, so things should be kicking off very soon. But lots to wait for both teams.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be kicking things off with Undertow Spillway Rainmaker. We just saw it just an hour ago for the other semifinals matchup. We're running the semifinals map pool. Really nothing much else to say about this map, Nito. It's pretty much the Rainmaker map that is very commonly played. So I'm going to be curious to see how both teams approach it from their team's perspective. More importantly, I'm going to be curious to see which team starts off strong, because Insomniac Central, we've noted before, very dominant run so far leading up to semifinals. Caution going to try to be the team to derail all of their plans. So for Caution, again, full CCA team, looking to be the third collegiate team to make grand finals in their respective divisions. It's going to be intriguing to see how this all plays out. Insomniac Central on the alpha side or your pink colored side, and that will be Caution hitting up Bravo. And on the green colored side, we take a look at the weapons right out of the gate, and there are a variety of different weapons here, Nito.
Let's break down some of them or at least to the best of my ability here. There is the ink Oh gosh, I already forgot the Tri-Stringer name, but Tri-Stringer
Yep.
already coming out from the side of Insomniac Central. Caution coming out with the Gold Nautilus. That's going to be the triple splashdown, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yes, that is triple splashdown. So lots of control for the side of Caution as Insomniac Central starts to get the first picks of the game, or actually Caution starts to get the first picks of the game.
Yeah, there's a little bit evenly matched right away. So if I look closely, yeah, the big notable things there. Insomniac Central has that Tri-Stringer and that Luna Blaster. I believe it's the Neo for the last one. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. But that would be the one with the Ultra Stamp. So gonna be curious how Insomniac Central does it. 5 points already got, but that's gonna be it from there. Big thing I've already noted though, excuse me, is that Nautilus with the triple splashdown and then that Rapid Blaster Deco. So look for Inkjet value there as well. And the other thing you want to keep in mind if you're watching this matchup are the dueling Stampers here, as we're kind of stuck into a slight neutral position, which may change here in just a few moments. Insomniac Central just built themselves a lot of space. They will get a quick lead change here. It should be the first checkpoint, and no problem whatsoever here, Nito.
Cruising straight towards that first checkpoint is Insomniac Central. Two picks on the side of Caution is going to get Insomniac Central a quick path towards that first checkpoint. Maybe a little bit more. Watch for that great push. It's going to be a little dicey though. They're the last play. That Rainmaker carry is the last player alive, so it's not going to take long for them to get surrounded by members of Caution. 47 remaining now. The mark to beat for Caution. Still game one. Still 3 minutes to go. But I'm already starting to see how I'm starting to kind of understand how both teams are playing this out here, trying to feel each other. This is what you always see from game one. It's always just about knowing how each other played, just working out a few kinks. Some people are still warming up, so I'm glad to see. It's going to be a neutral battle for now, but I almost suspect it's going to change very soon here.
And you're right on the money there too, because in game one you need to get a sense for how the other team plays throughout there. And Insomniac Central quickly understanding that assignment needed to make sure they can take full advantage. There's that Ancient, I just saw that from the side, able to get a few picks, which clears up the space they need for that checkpoint to be cleared. Skaboop boops out Noir out of the game there, and that should be a possible lead change. They are hesitating just a tiny bit, but they will get that lead. But they will turn this to 3 down there. Insomniac Central with a great response, and it will end with a bit of a clash there that ends with the lead going over to the side of Caution. And Nito, you noted there too. Get a good feel for each other. Try to figure out how the other team plays. Both teams are pretty much trading blow for blow right away.
Yeah, this seems like it's been a long 45 seconds since we were talking about that, but it looks like I've got enough from what Caution's starting to work with here. Caution is going to use that Stamper as a skirmisher weapon. You notice that flank being carried out from Caution, so expect more the same play from Stamper, especially now with that Zipcaster coming out, trying to get a few picks on Wings. Wings in a little bit of trouble, but spots out Skaboop just in time. Still a little bit of a skirmish here on the right side of this, or at least on the left side for Caution, as they see 2 players go down on the side of Insomniac Central. 3 players down, all up to Wings to carry out some defense, but they go down very quickly here. Caution is going to attempt to continue this push.
Yeah, the big thing here is they are winning a lot of these fights up ahead. That should clear up a little bit more space. But look for the lurking Luna Blaster from Noir. And Noir is able to get the pick from behind, but that will extend a few more points on the board, if anything, and that Rainmaker, I think, might stay where it is. Caution, yeah, 2 down, can't really push too far up ahead if they can help it. Insomniac Central keeping that Rainmaker there. This might be the first game where they're gonna get tested a little bit there. Caution playing this one very well so far. Gonna be curious to see how this all plays out here. 2 specials online. Well, make that 1 special. Now it's just the Ultra Stamp, but it's able to get 2, and that's able to get 3. And Insomniac Central might be able to build up a lot of space on the board.
45 seconds to go. The Caution is doing very well. Has been doing very well so far throughout this match. It seems like Insomniac Central hasn't been able to find themselves, or haven't been able to find the right footing for themselves. 30 seconds on the clock though. Insomniac Central don't have that pedestal to look forward to, so they can just cruise right in. If they can, Caution's making it very difficult here. Here's Skaboop with the Stamper going down there. Going for a great push if they can help it. Lemon there trying to stop things. Columbo now being resorted to stopping things. They run into the Rainmaker Blast. 10 seconds to go. It's still very close here. All 3 players going down, and things look to be pretty clear until Meep goes around the side, gets the pick, and Caution locks in game 1.
There are so many things to note there in the last 45 seconds, but it's going to end with a clutch pick from the Rapid Blaster Deco. I need to call out your name there because that pick, the way that fight was developing, could have been bad news for Caution. They were losing so much ground at their own base, and that just pretty much and that almost was like, okay, they might end up losing that lead, but no problem whatsoever. That is that first game. I did see a flanking Nautilus from earlier. We are going to get the replay here in that last second. That was Skaboop. I think that was Skaboop. No, Skaboop went down early on the Stamper, and it was me, I believe, on that Rapid Blaster. And yeah, that pick could have picked. If that did not land, was effectively game with the way that push progressed. Nicely done there. I was going to note the flanking Nautilus from earlier that did get shut down, maybe giving themselves a stagger, but it didn't really matter too much in the end. That was close from start to finish. And Insomniac Central getting tested there, Caution's off to a good start.
I'm glad we keep seeing the replay here because as a competitive player, I am mentally screaming. And I'll tell you why. This is so. I've seen this scenario before. So, like you said, if Meep doesn't get this pick here, this is game over for Caution. Insomniac Central gets that lead no matter what, because there's so much staggering going on the side of Caution that Insomniac Central if Noir gets to pick on Meep just before Meep gets that shot out, it's over. Insomniac Central gets the lead. But oh my goodness, that had me on the edge of my seat. That had me yelling out callouts, and I wasn't even playing.
The inner competitive player within you was just screaming through. And I know, as that Division 3 player, you're probably just wondering you had a lot of the thoughts just flooding through. It's like, all right, there are things that are happening here. You got to know all the players that are coming in. And exactly your point, staggers were pretty much running him because the last handful of seconds, it was pretty much rush time at that point. It was just how do we shut down Insomniac Central? Well, now you can make it 2 games in a row. Mahi zone's coming up here. Both teams are already loading into this one. And again, Insomniac Central, now they got tested by Caution. Caution looking to continue the momentum here in the zones map. All right, there are definitely adjustments across the board. 2 weapons have made their appearance. Okay, there's full-on adjustments. Dreadringer making an appearance here, Nito.
Never let them know your next move. Holy. Okay, I mean, this is... Now we see a Dreadringer coming up from Caution, and I can see that. The way Caution was playing last match, they were willing to throw it. They were willing to throw everything against Insomniac Central, so it's no surprise to me that they're bringing in the Reslider, because that's going to fit that kind of playstyle where it's just, we're going to send it down there, and we're going to hope that we're going to hope that something good comes out of it, but Reslider is going to be very effective here, especially before that water level simply jumps in this match. So when you see Skaboop here trying to get a pick on Wings, actually Noir helping out with that pick, and Noir picking out the Stamper on the side of Caution, but Caution still holding out a good lockout position here. Notice the positioning here. They seem to be able to hold out every single opening here for Insomniac Central, actually, as those water levels start to change. So, and with a pick from Insomniac Central, expect some changes here. Maybe not. No, Caution's still holding on.
Caution still definitely holding on there. I was going to note too. Look, Skaboop is just playing that weapon as a skirmisher as it is, and with that water level changing, it is opening the map just a little bit more. Zone split is secured though for Insomniac Central. So now Caution's gonna have to win out a lot of these fights, but they're gonna have no issues having there. They're able to take 3 members out from Insomniac Central, and Meep strikes again, and I believe that was a delayed wipeout if I'm not mistaken there too. That will be Caution getting the zones back. Only just a minor interruption there, just getting through these penalty points time and time again, and they have 3 specials to work with here, Nito. Azuka, a Reef Slider, and that Stamper is taking advantage of the Zip Caster. Look for them to try to weaponize that as much as they can, and they should be able to penalty points here soon here, Nito.
Right, and I'm almost not surprised that they waited until the specials started coming out from Insomniac Central, because Caution has just more than enough to respond with, and at some point they had the positioning locked down as well. But it's all up to the sniper to keep things going for Caution. 10 ticks remaining. It's a dire situation for Insomniac Central. If they can get this flip very quickly, he's going to need to get it soon, but they do not. And Caution gets the 2-0 lead over Insomniac Central. A complete flip of the script here, Keon. I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah, this is this is now a set where Insomniac Central for the second set in this Ludi season here have lost 2 maps in the one set here. This is almost uncharted territory for them in a sense. Again, we noted earlier that they won the set against Almanut on a 5-4 set, as we do see the replay. And that sniper, I believe, got the pick on the wings, if I'm not mistaken, which was critical though. Noir had to spend a few more had to spend a few extra seconds to get into the zone to contest. But by the time that all happened, Caution able to get back to the zone, no problem. That was a KO for them, and this is turning into something that I feel that Insomniac Central is like, all right, 2-0 down. We're definitely not used to this. Caution's giving us a run of our money right now.
I like this because Insomniac Central. This is going to be a prove-it moment for Insomniac Central. Call it what it might be. Call it what it might be. Call it whatever you think it might be. But this is a prove-it moment for Insomniac Central because now you have lost 2 games. You've never lost 2 games. Now you have to prove that you can still come back from this, and this is where not only is it the mentality part of it, not only is it the teamwork aspect of it. This is where you just have to show that those 5-0 results, those basically sweeps all across the board, were no fluke. You've got to, and I still think that Insomniac. Remember that match 1 was still very, very close between both teams. Insomniac Central still has it.
And this could be a case where they probably weren't expecting to handle the Dreadbringer and the many other weapons they changed to, because that was almost a wholesale change that we saw from Caution here. It's about to load into map 3. By the way, ship-shaped cargo tower control going to be the next one. And for Caution, they're trying to keep this momentum strong again, trying to be the 3rd collegiate team to make it through. Only just a slight flex change there to the vanilla stamper for the side of Insomniac Central. Actually, back to the stringer as well, but they are going to keep the CRB in play. And we do see Levin staying with the Snipe Rider. Meep going back to the Rapid Blaster Deco. Going to be curious to see how this all plays out. Again, gets very snowball heavy past the first checkpoint. Look for the team to try to take full advantage of that once they're approaching through, as we do get to see the trade on both sides.
And we're starting to see some similarities to that first matchup. Both teams still, I don't know, I don't think it's quite getting a feel for it anymore. At this point, both teams know what they're starting to bring out, and both teams know that each one can get a little tricky with things, so what they're going to do is play it a little cautious here. But now with Insomniac Central taking control of the game for now, this is going to be them opening up and starting to make a few moves as we see them clear this first checkpoint. Shouldn't take them too long unless Colombo has anything to say about it. Going around the outside of that tent, or that tower there, getting 2 picks there. Caution pausing a push from Insomniac Central that could have gotten the first checkpoint.
Pretty close to getting the first checkpoint there. Colombo, or Kona for this matter, was pretty much right there at the right time to be able to get that push stalled out as much as they could. So now they're looking to try to take full advantage of the Zuka. In fact, this could get out of control in a hurry here, as Insomniac Central is going to lose the lead, but more importantly, the first checkpoint, and now a snowball opportunity in play as Kona is in position, and so is Meep, and so is Kaboop. It's 3 members into the fray, and Insomniac Central can't really move up much further. It's going to be Lemon and Meep, the one now surrounding this tower, onto the second checkpoint here. They are able to take 2. They are able to take the lead 3. Meep still alive, though. They're going to have to figure out how to contain them. Colombo still jumping through, or Kona for this matter. Noir landing the direct shot. Very well, excuse me, as Kaboop is going to go down to another direct. Nice lands there from Noir, but Caution, well, they aren't being cautious anymore. 19 points remaining is the score, Nito.
No, I mean, there's no reason for me to say cautious anymore, because at one point, they were out of screen. They were that far in enemy territory. I need to point that out. We couldn't see them, and probably our Speccan wouldn't have been able to do much because they were out of screen. They were very aggressive here, so I expect to see more of that from Caution. That is huge gameplay, and we might need to see more of it here because Insomniac Central is starting to get a very solid push getting together. They're going to cross that first checkpoint, no problem, unless Kaboop is able to do something about it with this Zipcaster. Not quite able to get much yet. In fact, Caution went 1 player down, and now Insomniac Central is going to go 1 player down. It's still a little bit of a tussle here, almost a triple. That's a wipe for Caution, as Insomniac Central get off a little more too there.
Yeah, a little tricky there for Insomniac Central, trying to make that through. They were trying to replicate almost the same aggression that that Caution threw at them, but the difference there was they were still crowding too close to the tower. You know there too earlier that Caution was just like, nah, we're gonna be off screen just a little bit so we can play aggressive, make sure Insomniac Central can't move up much further. And this time around, yes, you clear the first checkpoint, but not even more than that. And that's good. That can get a little tricky as the more this game progresses on. And now Insomniac Central back to a defensive position here. Stamper is going to go down. It's going to be 2 down on both sides. And about a minute 35 left to go on the clock. And Caution is playing pretty stellar right now.
Gosh, I love that gameplay from Lemon and Meep. It's not like they're completely backed out of it either. They're still working together and getting these secrets. They know how chippy these weapons can get with their chip damage, as Lemon is able to clear that second checkpoint, no problem. Why we want to see more precaution? Are we going to see more of that out-of-screen gameplay? We actually are. Skaboop is going to make the moves with that Stamper. Still 5 remaining. All they need to do is keep it there for a little bit longer. And it's a 3-0 for Caution, winning on Tower Ship Shape.
This is a Caution team that is showing that they want to make grand finals in great fashion. And again, I don't think Caution is true to their name. They are going as aggressive as they can get, and it is stellar play past the first checkpoint. Again, if you're going to be playing aggressive, you got to play it with a purpose. They're able to get so many picks out of Insomniac Central there, and they just kept snowballing that through time and time again. Yes, your first push ends in 19 points remaining, no problem. Play defense. Insomniac Central was stuck in a different gear there, and Caution was just able to run this one through. 3-0 lead here for Caution, and this time around Insomniac Central needs to find a groove once more, and it has to happen soon.
I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, this is... Insomniac Central now really is in uncharted territory. That first set was close, to their credit. And I'm still a believer in the idea that if they held on, and if Meat doesn't get that pick, Insomniac Central could very well be 1-2 right now. But Game 4, you've been swept. You've been KO'd the last 2 games. Game 4 is Clan Blitz on everyone's favorite Barniesel, but you've been swept on the last 2 games. This is uncharted territory.
This is okay. Let's if we were to pump the brakes a little bit here. Insomniac Central had a great showing in Game 1, and then they definitely had stellar showings coming into the third game. Yes, it ended in a KO, but it looked like there were some signs of life that was happening there. But there has to be that response with the to the aggression that Caution's been dealing with them, because it's a classic case here of you now have 3 maps to get a good feel of how Caution plays. How do you account for it here, Nito? And I know this is a best of 9 set, but they are 2 losses away from not just a sweep, but also being eliminated from playoffs. So I can only imagine, Nito, as a player, you're like, all right, how on earth do we solve the riddle of Caution?
It's really hard, and I'll tell you why. Their mind, if it's what I remember from Div 5, and actually, funny enough, I was in this exact same scenario with Aquatic Vanguard, down 3-0 against Crimson Waves in the exact same spot in Div 5 semifinals. So at this point, 2 things are going through your head. Man, we're losing a lot, and how do we stop losing? And if I'm in Insomniac Central, I'm looking at what can you do to prevent Caution from full sending it, because them full sending it is what's preventing you from. Ironically, if this again, and I did make that argument for Game 1 that Insomniac Central could be 1-2, but ironically, you just need to make sure you keep them staggered. Remember that you nearly won that Game 1 by keeping them staggered. If you can keep Caution to where maybe Skaboop and at some point Meep aren't as aggressive as they are, you maybe start. If you find ways to punish that, Caution stays staggered, Insomniac Central can sneak by a win or 2 here in the next few sets.
While we're still waiting on the teams to load up here, Nito, would it be safe to say they might be a little rattled there after possibly getting picked off from Meep with that Rapid Blaster Deco? Because you go back to that Game 1 where Meep got that clutch pick that pretty much gave Caution the first game. Nito, do you think that possibly Insomniac Central seems to be rattled a little bit?
Oh no, they definitely are. I mean, this is and again, as a comp player, I'm gonna be through the scenario multiple times, so you have to be thinking, we had that. We were right there. We had that match, and this could be a totally different story if we had it. But you need to just learn that you can only control what you control, and what you're going to be able to control is this set coming up for both of these teams. So, game 4, Barnacle and Dime, or Barneasel and Dime Clan Blitz, and we see no major changes from both teams. They seem pretty set on what they want to do. Caution already getting the first pick, second pick, maybe the third pick of the game. Nope, fourth will do, maybe a fifth will do, but not yet.
Yeah, it's gonna this. If anything, it's gonna build up build that territory there that Caution can build up to gather the clans to get that power clan spawned in, up and ready to go. So this is a case now where Caution has a lot of control of the map. Sonic Central once again in another position where they have to be where they're getting pushed further and further behind. This seems to be a nice little recovery though, and especially if that Stanford are able to take full advantage of their specials, which they're not, which they're gonna hold on to, and a Zuka that is available at the ready. Excuse me, they could build up a little more space for themselves, but right now it's pretty much boiling down to is map control here, Nito. As 2 members have gone down from Caution, and Insomniac Central looking like they recovered pretty nicely. Delayed wipeout, this should be the flash.
There we go. That's what I've been waiting. That's what I want to look for Insomniac Central. Now, here's the next question. How do you keep Caution staggered? Because now they have 4 players up. You actually lost 2 players now. It's going to be maybe 3 Wings able to get away in time, but now you got to know, how do we keep Caution behind like that? You saw that it was the picks, and you saw that it was a numbers advantage that got you towards that 56 remaining push. So all you need to do is figure out, how do we keep getting these picks, and how do we keep building on those advantages, and that's going to bring Insomniac Caution back to the set. But for now, it's still Caution holding on to a few more specials. No big moves yet. Skaboop was trying to make one there, but unfortunately nothing there for the Stamper. But they get 3. Caution gets 3 players down. Might be 4 Wings in a lot of trouble. They do eventually go down. That's a delayed wipe for Caution.
Yeah, delayed wipeout for Caution there. SpecCam having a clan blitz moment here, as it's a little confused as to which basket to focus on. We gotta focus on this push, because this push is still going strong here from the rest of Caution. Insomniac Central stuck in their base trying to defend. This could be a successful hold there, as yeah, in the midst of all the basket camera switching, we find ourselves with Caution getting the lead once more. And this is what I was going to note, Janito, while that push was going. If I was Insomniac Central, how on earth do you deal with Skaboop? That's one pick, because Skaboop is pretty much enabling this all-in attack there that Caution's been dealing out. So this is one of those. This is a case where, how do you deal with Skaboop? And then the second member I keep an eye on is Meep. Meep has done some great work so far with the group here from Caution's end. So Insomniac Central has to find some responses for both those players. I can only imagine, as this push could be a second push coming up, and Skaboop is shut down once more. Zuko lands able to get 1 on the left hand side, opens up the space a little bit, but they are going to be deterred here by the Snipe Rider from the left hand side, and in fact gets picked off. Power Clan's going to be stuck where it is. Kraken is popped on that side. They have to zone out a handful of members from Caution, using this Kraken as a zoning special there, and this is going to break open the barrier, but how much more they can get out of this?
Oh, not much. They've already been wiped out by Caution. Insomniac Central. I see what they're doing there. I see with the Kraken pop, they're essentially trying to play the same role as Caution do. See if they can give them a taste of their own medicine. The only problem is that there was no follow-up for Noir, I believe, on that blaster, because there is nothing to follow up but when that Kraken expires. So that was already one player down and another player down. Now Insomniac Central has to be worried about 2 things. 1, like you mentioned, Skaboop. 2, that we just saw our lead get shredded away almost instantly when Caution got a pick, or Caution got a push going, or even a clam in the basket. Yeah. So with a minute to go, Insomniac Central is going to be very wary here. Caution has 1 power clam, might have 2 with the super clam under the basket, so they're being very wary here.
Yeah, this is the one thing here for Insomniac Central they're gonna have to deal with. By the way, here as well, because it's also a clam hoarding as much as possible here. This could be a devastating push. If the entire defense crumbles, which is turning to a 3-down situation, the floodgates could open up here shortly as Pro is able to throw in that basket, throw in the power clam, excuse me, as there could be even more clams in, excuse me, as well the second time. As another member's going down, one more clam for the KO. It's left to the Inkjet. You just gotta find one lone clam for the KO as they're trying to swim around and try to find anybody else, but it is gonna be gonna recall. It is gonna jump them back in, and Caution's gonna be up 4-0, match point, sweep point, if you will, for Caution. Insomniac Central in danger of being eliminated.
No sleep for Insomniac Central. Caution has everything covered here. Oh, okay. Well, now it's been a while since I've been in a situation similar to this. The moment I was talking about earlier with Aquatic Vanguard was, I believe, 2-3 seasons ago. So now, them being down, or Insomniac Central being down 4-0, it's very easy to be overwhelmed by this mammoth of a mountain you're gonna have to climb here, being down 4-0. I don't know. I don't want to say this is a clean sweep here. This is one of those. This is one of those scenarios where the score doesn't tell the whole story, because I still think Insomniac Central has all the pieces to this. They need to figure out the right ways to put it together. I still think they need to find out how are we going to take care of Skaboop, and how do we make sure these picks don't go from a small itsy bitsy little snowball to an avalanche.
That's gonna be the riddle to solve here as well. It's gonna be. I know we've been talking about Insomniac Central a lot because they've had such a dominant run in Division 5. This is like the first time we feel like where they got to win the next 5 and do the unthinkable, an actual reverse sweep, if you will. I know we've been talking about a lot about the team. A lot of credit needs to be given to Caution, by the way. They are playing excellent Splatoon here in Division 5. You know, Skaboop's get finding picks that is just enabling the team to move forward. I'm still thinking back to that ship-shaped tower control map where they're just going all in and trying to build that snowball, trying to get that snowball to control. They had a great recovery into Barney-Slay, I'm going to call it, Clam. So Manta Maria, Rainmaker,
Barney-Slay.
No, it's the Greek philosopher Barnacles.
Oh, goodness gracious. We have a wholesale comp change, by the way. Again, just letting you guys know, Caution is at match point. Revert sweep territory here for Insomniac Central if they want to crawl back. Caution looking to seal the deal. They've been playing excellent here. What do you see so far here, Nito?
Oh, Wellspring. Okay. That's... No. To my point, Skaboop and me, that's two people you want to stop. And Brave Breaker is going to get you one step forward. It's not going to solve the entire problem, but it's definitely getting you one step forward. And that triple is getting you multiple steps forward. Lemon, though, dropping down from the top rope, gets that pick before the Rainmaker is able to do the little jump there. But they still are able to pick that right back up, get past that first checkpoint. And they're still keeping Caution back. This is huge. This is a huge opening, but if they can catch Skaboop in time, if Wings can catch Skaboop in time, which they don't, that's going to be a lot of trouble for Insomniac Central. Caution still trying to pose a challenge. There's the wipeout. 36 remaining, so the damage is done from Insomniac Central, but Caution coming with a huge stop here.
That's step one. Clearing things out. And that pick may have bought themselves a little bit more time to run out and gain out of control there too. Great awareness by Lemon as well to realize, all right, they're gonna throw in a little bit of a misdirect there. 3 people send left, trying to send the Rainmaker to the right to clear out the pedestal. No problem here as the strip strikes to defend that first checkpoint from being cleared up, and it pretty much built the space that they need. It is not gonna be the checkpoint cleared just yet. They're still pushing this one a little bit further here as the rest of Caution still lurking large. Nor, I believe, had Kraken there. If I'm not mistaken, I think I'm being fooled there. Yo, no, there is that Kraken. There it is. As it's 2 members and the third member going down. Lemon is gonna bite that one off there. This could be a first checkpoint, and look at how far up again Caution is.
Yeah, there's a Kraken. There's one right in front of the screen. No, that's something I didn't catch on until then. But there is a huge lead from Caution. Swear this is a KO. I'm going to lose it, but with 3 minutes to go, we do not see the KO from Caution. 6 points remaining, though. That is huge. Insomniac Central. Now with that push, they could have had it. They could have had it much better here. But Caution with the absolute monster of a response here. Goes up to 6 remaining. That is huge. There's still half of the match to go, but Caution just wanting to close things out as soon as they can.
That's and again the same scenario played out there as well. A strong first push negated by an even better push from Caution there as well. Insomnia Central again has to experience the exact same pain for two straight maps, and Caution just playing so aggressive. It almost feels like Insomnia Central is kind of stuck trying to play this one a little bit more cautiously, but Caution's like, no, we'll just continue to play aggressive as much as we can. And they're trying to see if they can replicate the same success there as well. With the wall string going down is going to slow that one maybe a little bit there, as Lemon and the rest of Caution is there looking to play defense as much as they can, as two members, excuse me, have gone down. The rest of the team is wiped out once again, and Caution has won this also once more. Meeba, I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to do there. I don't know what that is supposed to be, but Krona's gonna be the one picking up the Rainmaker.
Oh man, this is starting to get a little silly here. With Insomniac, or with Caution going up currently up 4-0, they know that all they have to do is let this. Wow. For just a little bit, Prince is the only one left with the only one left to defend against this. But so far, it's proven to be not enough for Insomniac Central. Caution getting that much closer. Once again, they actually made the drop there. Can they get any further? I'm not sure the answer can be yes just yet. But Insomniac Central has seen that Rainmaker go too close to their own pedestal far more times than that Rainmaker has been gone to the opposing team's pedestal. And with a minute to go, they said this triple here has to be taken advantage of, and Insomniac Central has to find something to get themselves back on the board.
Wall to wall now for Insomniac Central to try to still stay alive here in Ludi playoffs. And how will this play out? Again, just having to deal with the rest of this team just playing, kicking to another gear, and the Kraken might be able to get the assist here. 35 seconds left to go on the clock. They get two members out of Caution. That's going to be another step to the puzzle, but how do they finish up this? How do they finish this one up here? As it is going to be Prince picking up this Rainmaker. 25 seconds left to go and still counting. They are able to take two members out, but the clear's been dished out just a little later here from Caution. Excuse me. They are able to take three out. It's a 3-down situation. This Rainmaker push can go up there, but Crota from the backside pumps the brakes on the push. There's only two members left. Red is the only one that's there, and Skaboom is trying to zone them out. This Rainmaker is going to be stuck where it stands, and this is going to be the last minute pick up there, but the rest of the team is wiped out. No. A little sugar on top, and along with the cherry on top to the sundae, as that will be the end of the set. A 5-0 sweep from Caution, and they'll take on Little Fresh Meat in Division 5 Grand Finals.
So, Insomniac Central, just one more thing. I saw you went 5-0 in the group stage, and you've lost one game, and yet our team beat you 5-0 in semifinals. Wow. Nothing here. I just want to tie up some loose ends. Nah, okay. I know Krona's gonna love that when they watch the VOD, but oh my god, goodness, there's not much for me to say here. That Caution, and this is still a very close set, regardless of how that's set, or regardless of what the score says. I still think there was a lot more to it than what a 5-0 is going to tell you, but Caution, wow, goodness, I mean, you wanted the best of collegiate Splatoon. Well, there you have it. It's currently sitting in Grand Finals, awaiting the last match of the season, so there's not much for me to say here. This is astonishingly great set, and astonishingly great from Caution.
This is, I mean, that was a close set from start to finish. Nito, I know it's gonna say 5-0. We get to see a lot of strong pushes from Insomniac Central. Game 1, I feel like that was kind of the map where things could have easily gotten off the rails a little bit there from Insomniac Central, because that pick then just turned into Caution, just rolling that into a 5-0 sweep. And I know if you're an Insomniac Central player or a fan out there, you're gonna feel really bitter. That's how your Division 5 run ends, especially with how dominant you've played throughout the season. But Caution honestly was just playing on such a different level there as well, because Skaboom and Meep just enabled everything to just go from 0 to 100 in terms of the speed. So there's really not much else to say there. Caution just played so well, and they had an answer to everything. And Sav, I know you were probably sitting there in that hosting desk, having all of that reaction. Just watching Caution play just looks so incredible. As I love it.
Trying to go over and try to point at Saf, but there's a Keon in the way.
Yeah, yeah. Nito had to run off, so I'll quick monologue here as well. So, oh, that's why. That's why. The cat. No, the cat's now roaming free on Nito's end there as well. We see that. We see that there. By the way, you were muted there, Saf. But I'll echo the.
It's fine. As long as you guys heard, I think that's what matters.
Yeah, no. Basically, we were just echoing the same sentiments here, just to fill you guys in. It was basically Insomniac Central fans and players. There were just like, that's such a tough way to go out there too, because again, you were coming into this only losing 5 maps, and then just getting swept by Caution, who again, very strong team in Division 5. Again, no slouches either, making it to semifinals. I know it feels tough, but this was definitely more Caution showing what they can do against another team in the semifinals bracket.
I want to say, I want to wait. Nito, I'm going to cut you off. But one thing I really want to shout out, I've been thinking about it since the set started, Kyon, when you first said skaboop. There they go, there's skaboop. And I've just been laughing to myself on mute about the way that you said that the first time. But I think that was like foreshadowing the set for me, because consistently we would just see Skaboop flying around and taking like really consistent fights with people. And it's like you said, eventually once we gathered more information, it was like, okay, Skaboop is the one that's the issue here. This is the thorn in the side. This is the one that we need to try to get some control over, get a handle on. And it just consistently proved to be a challenge. Nito.
You say that like a teacher, and I'm just like here raising my hand, so I'll take it. But Insomniac Central, if it's on any consolation, 2 to 3 seasons ago, I was in the exact same spot. Aquatic Vanguard lost to Quincy Quake 5-0. It's after a while, you just gotta understand that it's sometimes. Me watching this, I have to say, it looks like Caution it doesn't look like it basically was Caution being the better team here. And when you lose against the better team, you just have to accept that. All right, well, they were the better team here. There was nothing apart from that. And I mean, that's something you can still get some things to learn out of, and some things you can take away from it. But wow, I mean, that when I saw the things Caution were doing, and I saw the way they were playing, mostly coordinating these flanks and coordinating these the positioning there. You said 3 people on the left, and I was thinking, I haven't heard trips left since flag football, and I'm not expecting that level of coordination here. So, okay, Caution, jeez. Wow.
True.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
I was trying to hand over to Saf, and I'm like,
Yeah, okay. Listen. That was a good one to end it on. I'm glad that Insomniac Central and Caution came to hang out with us. But like you said, Kyon, Caution punching their ticket to the finals seat next week, and against
Little Fresh Meat is what I see on the bracket.
Meat? Okay.
Meat.
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 Little
Meat.
fresh meat. Hold on, I need to make sure.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm staring
just double
at it right
checking.
now, too.
Just double checking. Well, listen, you guys, it was a pleasure to be here with you tonight, as always. I'm gonna ask the same questions that I asked of. Oh my gosh, I'm brain farting of Rose and who was just here? Yeah,
DRF.
I was like, who else was here with me earlier? And I'm so happy to see them too. But Kyon, tell me now. I need to know. Are you going to Riptide?
You bet I will.
Yeah.
If you guys are going to Riptide, you guys will see me there. I will probably I will be lounging around. I'll also be watching all the Splatoon that's happening there. So I hope to see you guys there. But I'll throw my quick plug as well. Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitter and Blue Sky for the nonsense. Blue Sky I'll try to be more active on, of course. Twitch is my streaming break currently, just because my schedule's just busy for the month. And maybe at some point after today, I'll probably go back and try to get all this stuff sorted out for finals week coming up here in Ludi's. So yeah, that's where you guys can find me anyway.
Yeah, and Nito, what about you? Riptide plans?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be at Riptide. This is my first Riptide, so I can't wait to see the rest of you there. I know DRF said on the last comm block that Triggerfish Stones is going to be there. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna look out for every single one of you. Okay. I'm gonna look out for every single one of you. Okay. I guarantee you, I'm gonna be there. But you know what? I think it's time for me to plug myself. Twitter and Blue Sky at Nito and Use, and Twitch at Nito and Use on the rare occasion that I do stream, which will happen more frequently. And what I'm hoping for is that in 4 years' time, I'm gonna be at LA for the Olympics. So I hope I'm there. I mean, obviously just to watch and see how things go. Maybe as an athlete.
Nito for the Olympics 2028?
We'll see. Let's just see what happens.
This is the campaign launch.
Something will happen.
You're launching the campaign on SplatoonTourney.
Yeah, I called it here.
Wonderful. Well, don't find me. Don't find me.
Oh, okay.
I will also be at Riptide though, at Safirea, 2 P's, 2 A's on Twitter, and I guess Blue Sky. I don't really know what's going on over there these days, but I will also be at Riptide. Please come and talk to any of the 3 of us. I'm sure we would be ecstatic to meet you. Also sign up for Riptide if you haven't already, but the biggest important thing is stay safe out there. Drink your water. It's hot. We're coming down to the end of the summer. You guys, I'm so excited for Halloween. I gotta say. Halloween is around the corner. I went to Spirit Halloween today just to commemorate the occasion.
Oh, goodness.
Just for fun.
Spirit.
But listen, we appreciate you out there. We love you. We will see you, I'm sure, next week for some finals matches. But thank you for watching Ludi tonight on SplatoonTourney, and we love you. We appreciate you.
Wait. Just have it be off. Perfect. Love you, background.
What?